joined by fellow marketer and the founder and CEO of ClickScope, Sam Darcy. How's it going, man? How you doing?
Wicked, man. Yeah, awesome. I'm glad we actually managed to get this sorted. Finally, we've been rescheduling and stuff. I think we've both been mad busy, especially with you moving house and stuff. But yeah, gas for today, man. Hopefully drop a load of value for people out there. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice one, man. So obviously, as you say, this is going to be super valuable for people anyway, but do you want to just kind of start off, introduce yourself for any of the non-marketers don't know who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think shortly I'll go way back to, my past and stuff, but just at the moment, I basically started up my own digital marketing agency. It was actually last year I started, but I didn't really do anything. I was working full time, just super burnt out. I wasn't really spending any time on the actual business. And then this year, I really realized that, I need to do this. I think I've always kind of had that entrepreneurial mind, and I was kind of sick of working for other people. So basically this year, just took a massive risk. Don't advise this to anyone out there, but just in order to kind of force myself to focus on my business and get things going, I just quit my job basically. And this was right at the start of the pandemic. So it's a bit of a, but it was a huge fucking risk on my side. But yeah, quit my job, which, yeah, like I said, big risk. If I hadn't have made it work out, things could have gone really badly wrong in terms of me getting in debt and things like that. But anyway, luckily I managed to replace my work wage in just under 30 days, and we just hit six figures the other day, and we did all of that in just over 6 months during the pandemic as well. Like, we're still in obviously we're both in the UK, still in the middle of the whole COVID situation. So yeah, it's just been absolutely nuts, man. And yeah, before that, I was working a variety of like digital marketing jobs, but we can go into that shortly. But that's just kind of a brief intro on me.
Sick. Yeah, and there's a couple of things I do want to touch on there anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously your agency, ClickScope, do you want to just kind of tell people what it is you do, what you're getting up to recently?
Yeah, 100%, man. So yeah, ClickScope's just a digital marketing agency. So we basically just help clients across the world grow, mainly using online strategies. So SEO, Google Ads, paid social ads, just to name a few strategies, basically. Work with quite a range of niches at the moment: real estate, e-commerce, education, and yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Nice. So as you said, we are going to kind of touch back into how you got started and sort of the more origin story, because as I think everyone who does market knows, all marketers have wicked backstories. Somehow we all have really good backstories and really good origin stories. So you want to just kind of kick it off, kind of just tell people what it is.
Yeah, sure. So I'm literally like a proper average Joe. I went to sixth form. I dropped out after like 4 months. I just didn't. When I was younger, I just had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. I'm 27 now, and yeah, basically just dropped out of sixth form. I was kind of hanging around with the wrong crowd. I was just, I pretty much went to sixth form for the whole party lifestyle. Decided it wasn't for me. I think purely just because I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, and university just did not seem appealing to me. I think a lot of my friends have always been a bit older than me, and I saw a lot of people who dropped out of uni and kind of wasted a couple of years there. So I think straight away I knew university wasn't for me. However, I did find that was a bit of a struggle. I think with my grandparents and my parents, there was that whole stigma around you have to go to university to be successful. And I think I did have that pressure on me, but I ignored that anyway, dropped out of sixth form, basically just worked at like Tesco's warehouses for years and years. And yeah, I think it was when I was about 2021, I think life really kind of slapped me around the face, and I thought, look, I need to sort my shit out. Basically, I need to do something that I'm going to enjoy, build some sort of career and get going, because I was just working these kind of, nothing wrong with these jobs at all, but I was not fulfilled in them. They're kind of just dead end jobs.
Yeah.
I was going to work, being surrounded by people that just looked depressed, and it was just absolutely killing me. So yeah, I think I just decided I really needed to sort things out. And that's where I decided to get back into, well, not back into digital marketing. ICT was basically something that I really enjoyed at school. So working on computers. And luckily for me, I found an apprenticeship. It was with a graphic design company in my local city. Awful apprenticeship. It was dreadful in terms of the training they provided, but I basically just dived headfirst into SEO and just was basically teaching myself digital marketing. And from there, just basically jumped about jobs, went like evolved into a digital marketing exec, and then worked at a few more companies and mainly just some other digital marketing agencies, which was great. That was where I really kind of evolved my skills, but I just still found it unfulfilling. I was sick of working 9 to 5 and having that strict kind of work routine. And some of the jobs I was working at was miles away as well. So I was driving the whole time and yeah, just super burnt out. And that's when I decided to take the leap into the kind of entrepreneurial space. So yeah, that's kind of whiz through my past there in terms
Yeah.
of the job and college and stuff.
Obviously, you've hit 6 figures. So again, congratulations. Big up that. And I know everyone in the community that we're in was super hyped as well and pumped for you, because I mean it's a massive milestone for us to see. For other people in the community to see it is sick. But I wanted to ask, in terms of scale, did you anticipate this, number one? And two, was it outreach, was it cold calls, or was it based through referrals and word of mouth?
Yeah, good question, man. Just quickly as well, and I think let's maybe come on to this in a bit. Just in terms of the financial side, I think for anyone out there, you do need to be careful. Like the financial side of things shouldn't really be a goal for you. And I'll kind of briefly touch on this now, but like now I've hit 6 figures, it just seems normal, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I'm still pinching myself, and this is the issue with those like financial incentives and goals that people have, is you'll hit a certain goal, but then you're always looking at that next step. So I think we can dive into this in way more detail in a bit in terms of like you know what I mean, your why, like why you're doing something, why do you want to do, I don't know, why do you want to start a business or hit a certain goal. I just think it's important that people out there, you know what I mean, you don't just look at the financial side of things. But in terms of the speed that I hit 6 figures, definitely wasn't expecting it to do it in 6 months. So originally, I quit my job in March, and then replaced my wage. And then, yeah, around March, April time, I set myself a 12-month goal to hit 6 figures, which I thought was really realistic. I mean, realistically, you only need to get to about £8,500 a month in retainers. So even if you only sign 1 or 2 clients a month, or one client every 2 months, it could be quite easy to hit it over the course of a year. But yeah, obviously things went a lot better than expected, and yeah, managed to achieve it in just over or just under 6 months, around September time.
Nice.
And in terms of the clients, it was just a huge range. We had quite a few referrals that came in. In terms of my outreach strategy, I don't do cold calling. I've never been a fan of it. Again, we can go into a bit more detail on that in a bit, but my main strategies in terms of booking in calls with clients and then signing them, LinkedIn, because obviously you can just speak to business owners directly. You just need to be careful, you know, in what you're saying to them. As we mentioned earlier, you need to actually sound interested in the niche and be able to speak the lingo and address their problems directly. And Facebook groups is another huge one. The biggest client I actually signed was just from posting in a Facebook group. Again, I just really hit the nail on the head and managed to, I guess, call out to them in terms of like the solution that I could bring them. So yeah, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, and then email campaigns. They are good, but you just have to really cut through the noise, because there's millions of agencies out there sending business owners emails every day. So you really need to you need to cut through the noise, basically. And one thing I really love, and this is why I don't really like cold calling, I don't really have much sales experience. So I love video outreach, because I said this on my interview with Jordan. Excuse me, sorry. Obviously with video outreach, you can craft like a 10-minute video, and if you go wrong, you can re-record it, and you can really take your time to get your message across. Whereas when you're on the phone, I don't know about you, I'm just not a fan of cold calling. I'll jump on the phone. Even though I'm confident in what I'm selling, you always have those nerves there, and people throw those curveballs at you, and it just completely throws you off sometimes. So yeah, big up video outreach, and then again, it's important to use those different strategies.
Nice, because mine's actually the opposite. I love cold calls. That's predominantly cold calls, but again, that's coming from my experience being in hospitality. So I worked in hospitality management in bars and hospitality, basically for say 6 and 7 years. So front customer facing, face to face, that comes so naturally to me that I prefer that over sending an email, and that's the reason that I'm looking to sort of jig my outreach strategy now. It's because my email outreach is pretty shit, to be honest. It's just, I mean, you know, you do as everyone does. You set up your sequence and you put it in and you copy this script and that script, and it just doesn't work. Like, I've never had any actual success for emails. Everything is through cold calls, which is something I do need to fix. I mean, again, it's one of them shortcomings of my agency. It's the weak point of the structure is I need to have better outreach in terms of email. But my problem is I can't articulate things in text and in writing, which is why I always sound like a retard half the time when I try to type things. Whereas if I say stuff, I can articulate, especially when someone's on a call. And as you said, when you mentioned like they threw you curveballs consistently, people love doing it. But that's the bit I enjoy because I'd rather have the curveball. I actually find it easier to respond on the spot than to actually have time to write the email because I feel like I should write a better response if it's through the email.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think cold calling is definitely something I'm necessarily going to get into myself, but I think my next step is either getting someone to handle the fulfillment side of things. But I think ideally I want to try and find someone who loves cold calling. So if, if you want to jump in, Johnny, come join the
Let me know.
agency. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I think someone to either do the marketing side of things just to free up a bit of time so I can focus on sales. But ideally, I want someone on like a commission only basis who's doing cold
Right.
calls constantly all day. Because I'll be honest, I completely agree with you. I think cold calls are the best way to actually get meetings booked and to sign clients because most agencies aren't doing them, especially all the agencies you get abroad because
Yeah.
there's not just UK agencies messaging UK business owners. You've got people in the US, you've got India. There's agencies all across the world constantly spamming people with emails, LinkedIn
Exactly.
messages, and not many people are doing cold calls. I think that's why they cut through the noise. I did actually do when I first started off. I did like 10 cold calls and I booked in like 2 meetings, but even after having that success, I didn't end up signing the clients. Even after having that success with the cold calling, I just still don't enjoy it. And obviously, I've managed to do all right without it. But yeah, I think I definitely want to get someone like on a commission basis who can come in
Yeah.
and just cold call businesses 24/7 because definitely the best strategy, I think.
I mean, 100%. And I mean, we mentioned it earlier on, like I think outsourcing is one of the best things to do
Mhm.
when it's the right time and when it's for the right reason. So, like in your case, and in my case, where it's something that I know needs done, but I'm not exactly fantastic at it. So, hire what you need to hire. Same as I mentioned with like, obviously, uh, Jordan done it with Joe because the analytical side, and that's completely my idea as well. And I mean, I don't know what your opinion on it, but that's actually my intention, because I know once I hit a certain level, I'm not going to be able to scale any further, which isn't right now. I'm okay, but I know once I hit a certain level, I'm not going to be able to scale any further without filling that repertoire. Being
Yeah.
able to fill that demand, but I already know exactly in my head who I would be looking at anyway.
Hmm.
And the sort of structure, which would be, as I said, just essentially equity, just kind of
Yeah.
bring someone in as a business owner. Because again, it's like Jordan said when he mentioned it. I I believe someone will work harder if they have a reason to work hard. Do you know what I mean? If they feel like they're invested and they have an investment in the business and a reason they're actually going to get up, they're going to work and they're going to get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to have them incentives there. I'm actually just literally before we jumped on the podcast, I was interviewing someone. So basically, at the moment, I'm trying to recruit a digital marketing specialist who can handle the fulfillment. Initially, I wanted someone doing sales, but I thought, let's say they smash it over the next 3 months, I'm just going to have way too much work to do myself anyway.
Smart.
And personally, I think I still want to be the face of the company. Um, you know what I mean, for a bit, producing all the content and still kind of outreaching to people. But I think my goal and what I want to do, yeah, get like some sort of specialist in who can do all the fulfillment, dive into the campaign, someone who's obsessed with tweaking ads, A/B testing, not entrepreneurial minded. And I'll come on to this in a second. This is actually why some of the interviews didn't go too well over the last week or two, because there were other massive entrepreneurial minded people and you can have that clash there. Ultimately, I think
100%.
I'm just looking for someone who's like a proper data geek who can just dive into the campaigns. And then I think from there, hopefully over the next few months, I'll try and find someone who can do the sales side, cold calling on a commission basis, and then scale up that way. And then, you know what I mean, as we get too overwhelmed, just get another performance specialist in and go from there, really.
That's
But yeah,
smart.
massive point that you made was, yeah, delegation. Like you need to delegate things that you're not necessarily good at or that you don't enjoy. And I think a lot of business owners out there are scared to do that. I think a lot of people get I don't even know what it is. They're like maybe anxious about giving or delegating tasks away. I guess it's it's a weird thing, isn't it? I think a lot of
Yeah.
people get stuck and they try and do everything, and ultimately I think that's why a lot of businesses collapse.